Well, it's September 9th, and right now Hurricane Irma is slamming Cuba, the north coast of Cuba. It's actually kind of a pretty bad situation. The track is still taking it right up into the western coast of Florida, right across the Keys, kind of not too far from Key West, up to Fort Myers. We've finally lost our sunny days. Most of this is not directly related to Irma, but sort of the moisture and the clouds that are being kind of sucked in to the system from farther away. We probably missed the real high cirrus clouds last night that are preludes to some of these types of storms. It looks like we're going to get a lot less of the wind interaction. We'll probably get very strong tropical force storm force winds, maybe even some hurricane force winds, but I think from what we're seeing now, we're going to get more of a rain event here, anywhere between 8-13 inches, a foot of rain in some places, and that could be again a whole nother issue here in Palm Beach County, especially in our low-lying areas. Storm surge is still going to be an issue, definitely, but not quite as much as it is going to be on the west coast, where it's really going to be bad. They're looking at possibly 8 to 10 foot storm surge in some areas through those western low-lying communities, and they're much lower there than they are here in Palm Beach County along our coastal regions, so not good on that level. So anyway, doing our last minute preps, and we'll keep you posted. Well, we're finally under curfew, so what are we going to do? Well, one thing is to actually have fun with each other and play games, which is always kind of nice to have when everybody's around. And then, of course, we still have power, so there's, the TV, there's Netflix, there's YouTube. The regular channels are all about Irma, so that gets kind of boring after a while. Even the dog's taking a siesta, and the cats are all hiding from the dog, so that kind of works out about right. We got plenty of foodstuffs. This one actually happens to be in our emergency area or shelter room, and of course plenty of animal food as well, stacked up for a while. And in the kitchen, oh my goodness, do we have food coming out our ears. We could survive quite nicely in here for a couple of weeks, well, at least 2 weeks I would assume, and plenty of right off the shelf eat food, and plenty of food that I can cook on the grill and all my camping stoves and things like that. We also have plenty of coolers hanging around, ready to service all our needs. Well, we're sitting here. It is about almost 5 o'clock, and as you saw with the radar, we're starting to actually get to the very edge of truly what is Irma. The eyes left the coast of Cuba now. It's now fully over water, and it's starting to fuel up pretty good. The eye wall is relatively intact. It got a little messy in the middle, being over a little bit of land, but it never fully completely went on land, so it was able to sort of keep its structure. And now it's going to be able to ramp up a little bit more, so even though it's a Category 3 right now, we pretty much expect it to be a 4 by the time it gets to the Keys. Whether it's any stronger than that or not, we'll have to see. But a Category 4 in this size of a storm is going to have some huge impacts for the Keys in terms of storm surge and wind damage. So we are getting stories of people actually coming back into the Palm Beach area from the northern areas where they fled, or even some of the western areas where they fled. We also have some reports of people taking down their storm shutters here in Palm Beach County as well. And we definitely advise against that kind of stuff, because this storm could still wobble a little bit, but I think people kind of focus on the cone of probability, but you have to remember that cone of probability is just about where the eye is. This is a much bigger storm than Hurricane Andrew was, much larger, so even if it loses some of its strength, it's still going to affect coast to coast. The timeline, unfortunately, is pushed back even more, so there's going to be a lot of sitting around, watching TV, reading, things like that before we really even get to stuff that's going to knock out a lot of people's power. And I do suspect we'll get knocked out of power probably closer to tomorrow afternoon to tomorrow night. But hey, that's just the way these things go. Nature has its own mind sometimes. We try and figure it all out with all the variables, but experiencing it is a little bit something else. So it's now officially hurricane party time, except we're all too tired and to party, so maybe tomorrow. Anyway, we'll keep looking at it, but that's pretty much it for right now. And probably pretty much it for today.